Are jackalopes real?
鹿角兔是真的吗？
Antlers, antelope.
鹿角羚羊。
The jackalope.
鹿角兔。
An animal with the body of a jackrabbit and the antlers of an antelope or deer.
一种长着野兔身体和羚羊或鹿角的动物。
Is a cultural icon of the American West.
是美国西部的文化标志。
Creature. Knickknacks, taxidermied.
生物小摆设动物标本剥制的。
The image of the creature is sold on all sorts of knickknacks in the region.
该生物的形象在该地区的各种小摆设上出售。
From postcards to shot glasses.
从明信片到小眼镜。
At one point, tourists could even buy taxidermied and mounted jackalopes for $35 or less.
在某一时刻，游客甚至可以以$35或更低的价格购买动物标本剥制和安装的鹿角羚。
But is the jackalope real, or is it a myth?
但鹿角兔是真实存在的，还是一个神话？
Hybrid, literature, author.
混合文学作者。
Although no such hybrid animal exists, there's an element of truth in the legend, said Michael Branch.
迈克尔·布兰奇说，虽然不存在这样的杂交动物，但传说中有一定的道理。
A professor of literature and environment at the University of Nevada, Reno and author of the book.
内华达大学里诺分校文学与环境教授，本书作者。
Less than on the trail of the jackalope. How legend captured the world's imagination and helped us cure cancer greater than.
小鱼在鹿角的机上，一个传奇如何捕捉世界的想象力并帮助我们治愈癌症。大鱼。
Pegasus Books, 2022.
飞马图书2022年。
Mythological, creature, horned.
神话生物有角的。
Stricken with papillomavirus species.
患乳头瘤病毒种。
It's a mythological creature, he told Live Science.
这是一种神话生物，他告诉 Life Science。
But it does bear a real relationship to horned rabbits in nature that are stricken with papillomavirus.
但它确实与自然界中感染乳头瘤病毒的角兔有真正的关系。
Rabbits don't naturally grow horns.
兔子不会自然的长角。
But the rabbit papillomavirus can make them do so.
但是兔乳头瘤病毒可以使它们这样做。
Papillomaviruses are common in many species.
乳头瘤病毒在许多物种中很常见。
Infects, specific, host species, prime.
感染特定的宿主物种主要的。
And each type typically infects members of a specific host species.
每种类型通常会感染特定宿主物种的成员。
Branch said. A prime example is the human papillomavirus, or HPV.
布兰奇说，一个典型的例子是人乳头瘤病毒或 HPV.
When the rabbit papillomavirus infects a rabbit.
当兔乳头瘤病毒感染兔子时，
It can cause the growth of a benign tumor out of its face or head that.
它会导致良性肿瘤从面部或头部长出。
Sometimes resembles antlers or horns.
有时类似于鹿角或角。
Keratin, protein, malignant.
角蛋白蛋白质恶性。
Sometimes, the tumor.
有时肿瘤。
Made of keratin, the same protein that forms fingernails and hair.
由角蛋白制成，与形成指甲和头发的蛋白质相同。
Grows on other body parts, but it's most common on the head, Branch said.
长在其他身体部位，但最常见于头部，布兰奇说。
The tumors can become malignant in some rabbits.
某些兔子的肿瘤会变成恶性。
However, these growths don't always look like antlers.
然而，这些增长并不总是看起来像鹿角。
Asymmetrical, majestic, the jackalope.
不对称，雄伟，鹿角。
They're often black and asymmetrical, and not nearly as majestic as the antlers of the jackalope.
它们通常是黑色且不对称的，不像鹿角那样雄伟。
Grotesque. Depending, severe, disease, horrendous.
怪诞取决于严重、疾病、可怕。
It's pretty grotesque, to tell you the truth, Branch said.
说实话，这太荒谬了，布兰奇说。
Depending on how severe the disease is in the rabbit, it can look pretty horrendous.
根据兔子疾病的严重程度，它看起来可能非常可怕。
In 1933, an American virologist named Richard Shope discovered that the rabbit papillomavirus.
1933年，美国病毒学家 Richard Shope 发现兔乳头瘤病毒。
Thereafter, infected, resembling.
此后感染类似。
Shortly thereafter named the Shope papillomavirus.
此后不久被命名为 Shope papillomavirus.
Caused infected rabbits to grow features resembling horns.
导致受感染的兔子长出类似角的特征。
According to a 2015 study in the journal PLOS ONE.
根据 PLOS ONE 杂志2015年的一项研究。
Until then, most scientists didn't believe that a virus could cause cancer.
在那之前，大多数科学家都不相信病毒会导致癌症。
Evidence. Viruses, certainly, mammal.
证据病毒当然哺乳动物。
There was some evidence that viruses could cause cancer in birds.
有证据表明病毒可能会导致鸟类患癌。
But researchers were skeptical.
但研究人员持怀疑态度。
And most certainly didn't think that it could happen in a mammal.
并且绝对不认为它会发生在哺乳动物身上。
Branch said. The horned rabbit proved them wrong.
布兰奇说，有角的兔子证明他们错了。
Related mysteries.
相关谜团。
Are Santa's reindeer males?
圣诞老人的驯鹿是雄性的吗？
Are viruses alive?
病毒有生命吗？
Mythical, dragon, breathe fire.
神话，龙，喷火。
Can any animal breathe fire like the mythical dragon?
任何动物都可以像神话中的龙一样喷火吗？
Avenues, eventually, toward, vaccine, cervical.
途径，最终走向疫苗宫颈。
It opened up lots of avenues of research to look into what other cancers might be caused by viruses.
它开辟了许多研究途径来研究病毒可能引起的其他癌症。
And eventually to work toward the development of a vaccine against them.
并最终致力于开发针对它们的疫苗。
He said. Specifically, it allowed researchers to begin creating the HPV vaccine.
他说，具体来说，它允许研究人员开始研制 HPV 疫苗。
Which can reduce the risk of cervical cancer and several other cancers.
这可以降低患宫颈癌和其他几种癌症的风险。
Infected, papillomavirus, cancer.
感染乳头瘤病毒癌症。
Not all rabbits that are infected with the Shope papillomavirus grow horns.
并非所有感染 Shope 乳头瘤病毒的兔子都会长角。
Just like not all humans with HPV develop cancer.
就像并非所有患有 HPV 的人都会患上癌症一样。
But in the rabbits that do, the disease is often fatal.
但在这样做的兔子中，这种疾病往往是致命的。
The horns can disrupt the animal's ability to eat.
角会破坏动物的进食能力。
And they may starve to death, Branch said.
它们可能会饿死，布兰奇说。
Inspired, myth, mounted jackalope.
启发，神话，骑马鹿角。
The horned rabbit may have inspired the jackalope myth.
角兔可能启发了鹿角兔的神话。
But that's far from certain, Branch said.
但这远不能确定，布兰奇说。
The jackalope originated with 2 teenage brothers in Douglas, Wyoming.
鹿角羚起源于怀俄明州道格拉斯的2个10几岁的兄弟。
So far as we know.
据我们所知。
These young boys invented this thing on their own, Branch said.
这些小男孩自己发明了这个东西，布兰奇说。
They were hunters and amateur taxidermists.
他们是猎人和业余动物标本剥制师。
And they sold their first mounted jackalope to a hotel owner in the 1930s.
他们在1930年代将第一只骑马的鹿角兔卖给了一家旅馆老板。
This timing is an odd coincidence, Branch said.
布兰奇说，这个时间是一个奇怪的巧合。
Right when these 2 young boys were creating this joke.
就在这2个小男孩开这个玩笑的时候。
This hoax mount of a jackalope in Wyoming.
这个怀俄明州鹿角的骗局。
At almost the same moment.
几乎在同一时刻。
Shope was at the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research in Princeton, New Jersey, in his lab.
Shope 在新泽西州普林斯顿洛克菲勒研究所医学研究的实验室里。
Working on horned rabbits.
研究角兔。
Originally published on Live Science.
最初发表在 Life Science 上。